All right, hey guys. I am making this video. So basically, what it's for is to be a walkthrough of Klang. So we've had Klang for about a year now, and we made a few changes so that we could get some consistency across the board, and we could make sure that everybody has what they need in their ears and no more. So basically, what this is going to be is just going to be a walkthrough. I'm going to explain a little bit in depth, but I'm not going to go too much in depth. If you want to know more about it, either ask me on the weekend, or there's some videos on YouTube that I can send to you, and it has like a full 2.5 hour walkthrough of everything. But for the sake of everyone's time, we're going to keep this super condensed, and it's just going to be a quick run through to touch things that you're going to need week in and week out. Okay, so before we get started and I walk you through everything, I just wanted to preface this video by saying, now every single iPad has a label and every single iPad has a home. So we want to make sure that once you're finished with your iPads, that you put them back. The reason being is because we're going to talk about this later on in this video, but every single mix, it gets saved locally. When I say locally, I mean it gets saved to that iPad. I have the ability later on to go and move your mixes around based off of where you are located, but you want to make sure that you're saving your mix to that iPad, and then you're keeping your iPad in that spot so you can make sure that the next person that comes up and needs to use that iPad has their mix. So that's a big thing that you'll want to check on every single weekend, is just if you turn your iPad over and look at it, it's literally labeled what iPad it is. And if it's in the wrong spot, you want to make sure that you get it to the right spot. I'm going to obviously do my due diligence to make sure that they're in their positions, but just want to make sure that you guys are aware so that you can be proactive as well and putting them back where they go. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started on this. The first thing that we're going to touch on is mixes. Okay, so if you go down to this config button over here and you go over to local shows up at the top, and then you click on this little drop down menu right here, you'll see that there is a mix template A and a mix template B. This user preset, this is Andrew, don't worry about that. We just had development and he saved his preset, so don't worry about that. What you'll see a bunch of different names, but the biggest thing that you're gonna wanna focus on starting out is mix templates A and mix template B. So we'll start with A, and I'll show you. You'll click on that, and then you'll click load, and then we'll go back to faders. All right, so what I've done is I've gone through and I've made a simplified version of a Klang template, and then I've made an expanded version. So right now we're looking at mix A, which is the simplified version, and you'll see, I'm gonna scroll this over and you'll see right here. Okay, so you'll see drums. It says drums bus instead of the breakout of the drums. So it has a drum bus, it has a tracks bus, a clicks bus, and then a talkback bus. So basically, this is the simplified version of each mix, and then I'm going to show you on mix template B. Click load. This is the expanded version. So you can see you have all of the drums, you have all of the tracks right here, you have the clicks right next to that, and then you have all of the talkbacks. They are open. So I don't know if I said this before, but both of these presets, mix template A and mix template B, will be on every iPad. So I'm going to show you how to pull up that, and then that'll be a starting point for what you'll save your mixes to. So let's dive into that real quick. All right, so say you are on a weekend and you come in and you want to save your mix, but you want the simplified version. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this arrow here, you're going to click on mix template A, and then you're going to click load. Then you're going to go back to faders. How I got there is I clicked config. I don't know if I said that earlier, but click config and then you get there. So now that we've done all that, we're going to go back to faders. All right, so basically you load, like I said, the mix template A, go back to faders, just make a quick adjustment, This is just a placeholder so that we can save our name. So you're going to go back to config once you've made an adjustment. You're then going to go to this drop down. You're going to click right next to the drop down, the little like space, and you'll see it's flashing orange, and you're going to type in your name. For this sake, we're just going to type in demo. And then we're going to click return. You don't want to click update, because if you click update, that's going to update the mix template, and you don't want to do that. So you're going to click return after you've typed your name in, and then you are going to click save. All right, so now that you've done that, you can go through and I'm just going to show you it's saved. I'm going to mess with a bunch of different channels and all that good stuff, and then I'm going to go to config. I'm going to click on demo. So click on that drop down menu, click on demo, and then I'm going to click load. And if you go back, it's exactly how it was prior to us messing with it. So let's bring this back up to how it was before. Okay, great. So now that we've done that, it's the exact same thing for mix template B. You adjust it and save it the exact same way. Let's look at panning. So there's your faders view, as you can see. Then actually, before we look at panning, let's go through the different functions of a channel. So you have your solo function, and you can see that there's a red dot that says S on the faders section. That indicates that something is soloed. So if you ever like randomly, like you stop hearing a bunch of different things, I would check and see if something is soloed. Also, mute directly underneath that. If you see this over here, this little faders icon right here, if you see a orange M that has a circle around it, that means that something is muted. So you could be down here and you see that something is muted right here. You see this little icon right there, the M. Scroll over and let's find out which one is muted. Once you undo it, then it will go away. So that's just an indicator that something is muted. So your faders, like I said before, the functions of that, you have your solo, you have your mute. This button right here underneath the mute, it's a volume button, so you can turn this up. As you can see, as I'm clicking this, it's increasing the volume, and then down at the bottom, it's lowering it. So pretty self-explanatory, not rocket science. Oh, while we're on that, let's go solo. Okay, so you see the little solo here. Maybe you have a lot soloed. So maybe you were trying to listen to only a few things for practice or whatever it is. You can go through and you can click this button right next to so this is the master fader here. Right above that, it says clear solo. So if you click that, it clears all of them. So let's look at panning, because this is your faders. Faders are pretty much self-explanatory. If you grab it and you turn it down, it's going to go down. If you turn it up, it's going to go up. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Let's look at panning, because that's honestly one of the biggest things that you're going to find with Klang is the panning. The functionality that Klang gives you is the ability to not just pan stereo, but you're panning 3D. So what that means is you get like a 360 in front, behind, left, right, sideways. It's really cool, but it can be a little bit daunting at first when you look at it. So I'm going to show you what that looks like real quick. So if you click right above the faders, it's a stage. So you click on that, and then now you are in the view of the 3D. So just to preface, I've already gone through and set like the panning of like a good starting point. So you shouldn't have to really adjust a lot unless you have a preference of, let's say, for instance, one of our worship leaders, he likes to take one of his ears out, and so he'll pan his click to the ear that he keeps in so that he can make sure that there's no like bleed going to his microphone. So like obviously that's not going to be sent to every single mix. So you have the ability to have that isolated just for your mix. So what you'll do is you'll click on the stage, like we said before, and you can see that there's a lot that's happening right now. So like I said before, it can be a little bit daunting. What you can do is you can have it to where only one thing is shown on this screen, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So what you'll do is you'll go back to the faders view, and then down here, so there's your master fader here. there's your clear solo at the very top, and then at the very bottom it says second and alt. So if you click on second and alt, you'll see that a couple things change. So I'm going to do that real quick. Pay attention to the top of each fader. You can see that it changed from solo and mute to position and edit. So let's look at that function real quick, because there's a few things that you're going to want to pay attention to. Like we said before, if you go back to the stage, you can see that there's a lot that's happening right here. So what we'll do is we will go back to the faders view. We'll click on second and alt. Second and alt has been clicked. That's why it's switched to position and edit. So I'm going to click on position. And now you only see that singular like fader, that panning, where the location of that is. So once again, I'm going to click on second and alt. I'm going to click on faders. And I was on Vox 4. Let's go to something else. So we'll scroll over and we're going to click on the bass. So we want to find out where the position of the bass is panning wise. So I'm going to click on position up here, and you can see that bass is panned dead center. Like I said before, I've gone through and I've made a template of like what is going to be a good starting point for your mix. So I would encourage you guys, before you do a lot of panning, to honestly go through and then just adjust your volume, because it's set at a good starting point. I mean, obviously it's preference. Like I said, if you know that you only want something on the left side, then you can obviously make that adjustment. But I would say for those starting out, focus on not necessarily the panning, but more so the volume level. So your fader, where it's positioned, how loud or how quiet it is. So yeah, that is the gist of Klang. Like I said before, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and let me know. You can find me on a weekend. You can send me an email. You can send me a text, whatever. That's basically it. Look forward to talking with you guys on the weekend. Hope this helps. Like I said, don't hesitate to reach out. That's what I am here for, and I'm happy to help. So anyway, see you.